Oh, we got to talk about our man Van Lathan, bro.
Won the Oscar, yo.
Son, so this was tragic, yo. Our man Van Lathan wins an Oscar for a short film.
The film wins the Oscar.
Oh, sorry, the film wins the Oscar. This is Dove hating.
Yeah, that's a very LA thing to do.
Yo, why would you do that, Dove? I don't even know the difference.
That was some shade.
That's some shade, bro. That's some shade. That's his
film won the
Because
Oscar.
you don't got one yet? Like,
Not yet.
yeah,
Not yet.
Yeah.
Amazing accomplishment.
So Van Lathan won Best Picture.
So Van Lathan was
I'm
the star of
protecting
the
him in
movie.
case it
He
is,
was the star of the movie that won the Oscar.
he won the
he
Oscars.
produced it.
He won all the Oscars.
Nah, he produced
Because
this
that's
short
what makes
film.
him the star.
Exactly. He's a star. He's a star producer.
100%.
And called Two Distant Strangers. And then this chick pops up on TikTok, right? This Asian chick pops up on TikTok like, yo, I'm not saying anything, but this story and plot line is very similar to a sketch that I put out. Now, Two Distant Strangers is essentially Groundhog Day for a black dude. He's trying to avoid getting killed by the cop.
Yeah.
And he's doing all these things different in his life to avoid getting killed by the
The day
cop.
keeps happening over and over.
The day keeps happening over and over again. And the cop keeps getting him, right?
Why are you smiling?
I mean, you can't not give that the Oscar.
Yeah.
Like
That's it.
the white people in that room are like, "Come on, yo,
Yeah.
come on, yo."
Yeah. Last year, it's a movie about
Yeah.
like one guy getting killed by a cop. They're like, what if it's one guy
This
getting
is their
killed?
Groundhog
Over
Day.
and over and over.
This is their Groundhog Day.
The next
Every year we
one-
got to get the black shit
Yeah.
something. God
Next
damn
year,
it.
it's gonna be Inception. It's Black Guy's Inception, where he
What
goes
is
to an
it?
alternate universe and then he gets killed by a cop. Fuck, dude. It just happens to every universe. I can't
Black
get
guy
away.
lands on Mars.
Yeah, he gets killed by a Martian cop.
Cop shoots him
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah, like fuck, dude.
All right. So then this Asian chick had put out a sketch a while back called like A Day in the Life of a Black Guy. And I guess
no, it's literally called Groundhog Day for a black man.
Oh.
Which is a worse title.
it is way worse title. Groundhog Day for a Black Man. And it's a sketch where over and over again, he
Black dude gets killed by a cop.
gets killed by the
She
cop.
puts it out in like 2017.
Yeah, a lot of views. Now this, you've heard of the company Now This?
Yes.
Now This comes and asks her if they can post the video on their platforms. She acquiesces, they post on the platforms. Now, a interesting thing that happened with Van's Two Distant Strangers is it was also produced by Now This. So the Asian chick is like, hey, yo, this is crazy. She wasn't coming at the creators of the movie, but she was like, now this is involved? Is Now This taking my product and then getting it made, etc.? So I hit Van up last night. I'm like, yo, Van, what's the deal with this? And he goes, look, bro, we didn't take that from anybody. We didn't even bring in Now This until after we had done it. So if there's any person here who's a piece of shit or company, it's Now This.
So
never
you
liked
think Now
them, yeah.
This saw it pop off on their social media and it goes crazy and they're like, oh, this idea is brilliant. It got all these views. And then all of a sudden they hear about this movie that's getting made and they go, oh, we know that our fans love this and this thing killed. Let's attach ourselves to this idea that we know is going to do really well.
That's the most nefarious approach. I think there is another approach where the social media team is completely separate from the content acquisition team. And the content acquisition team is, hey, this is a really good thing. It goes with our like woke strategy. We definitely think that this is going to be Oscar nominated. It could look really good for us. And it just so happened that they reposted a piece of content, which they probably repost thousands of different videos every year.
Maybe. And because
Right.
the brand is linear and it's in agreement with each other, they're like, yeah, we liked it then. We like it
Who
now.
did she email?
But they didn't
Something
even
in her
really.
video.
That's what I'm imagining.
I
What?
didn't even make the connection to Van because whatever. But I remember in her video, she said something about hitting up Now This and Netflix and saying something like, hey, would you guys like to do something with this short film? And then, they contacted multiple departments, I assume, at Now This.
Yeah.
Probably not the same social media team handling the Twitter and reposting as opposed to.
And what often happens is when like a comedian, I think she was a comedian, I think she worked for like College Humor or something like that.
Yeah.
But like when a creator doesn't have a big backing and they ask a network for a special or something like that, they oftentimes get told no. And then the same exact idea can get made by someone who's a little bit powerful, a little bit bigger. This is experience in our professional career and tons of other comics as well. Or creatives as well. For example, there's a movie someone wants to get made, and then every production company's like, not interested, and then Leonardo DiCaprio signs on to the movie, and every production company's like, that's a great idea for a movie.
Yeah.
Right? This is just how the industry works.
Right.
So what I think this is like a really shitty coincidence. Like it looks on the surface like, yo, they robbed that shit and went with it.
Yeah.
But I'm believing it's a shitty coincidence. Also, that's my guy Van, and that's what he told me, so I'm gonna choose what my guy tells me. But what is interesting is that Van also said like he's like in retrospect, like I wish we did our due diligence on the idea, like really looking, because there have been a couple other like sketches. There was even another full-length movie that had a similar plot, and I was like, bro, like put that out there.
Yeah.
That helps you.
Yeah.
That just makes this idea parallel thinking.
Yeah.
If there's only 2 made in the world, then it looks tricky.
Right.
But Groundhog Day things are pitched all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if anything, you all ripped off Groundhog Day.
Which is,
Yeah, Bill Murray should be pissed.
I didn't-
He's like, yo, these black people are ruining everything, stealing my
You know what's
ideas.
funny? White people's Groundhog Day is, I'm going to kill myself every day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day for a
Groundhog
white
Day
man.
is white people going, I need to kill something.
yo,
White people are just killing, bro.
it really made me appreciate Groundhog's Day when I saw how many people stole that idea after.
Yeah.
And that came out in the mid-90s.
And
So
someone probably stole Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Groundhog Day is probably ripped off from someone else.
yeah, I'm just trying to have a nice moment about Groundhog's Day. You know what I
He
mean?
just said it. Why are you looking at me?
Well, because.
I was looking at you already.
looking
And then,
at me.
and then you were like, yeah. Like, I'm a fucking idiot for not knowing.
But finish what you're saying.
I was just saying it's a great idea. You know what I mean? You see it stolen all the time in everything.
Yeah.
All the repeating days, whatever.
And this is the thing about the internet. We always talked about this with like comedy, with jokes, etc. It was now that everybody is posting their content, there are millions of videos posted every single day, millions of tweets, ideas, etc. posted
Yeah.
every single day, right? You're going to see how often parallel thinking exists.
Yes.
Before, when there was like 1 special put out a year on HBO or 8 specials put out a year on Comedy Central or something, if you saw crossover between those jokes, you're like, yo, these
Yeah.
people are stealing.
You had to know.
Exactly. Now, when you see a topical joke put up, like literally all you need to do is go into the comment section of any like Reddit thread or even Twitter or whatever, YouTube. You'll see the same jokes written
The Twitter
over
thing is
and over
crazy.
again.
I kind of almost like kind of stopped doing it because like I would think of these jokes that were like deep cut, like goofy, like silly one-liners. I would like search it on Twitter,
Yeah.
and then someone from like 2012 had like a similar-ish idea,
Yeah.
and then I wouldn't do the joke,
Yeah.
and then you just do that with every joke, and they
Yeah.
all have been done in some
Yeah.
version on Twitter, and you're
Exactly.
like, fuck, dude.
We're in a world.
And that's what's being exposed. Sorry to cut you, but
No.
like that's what's being exposed by everybody's ability to have a voice
Yeah.
is that we're gonna have similar ideas. And it's really tricky. And you know who kind of gets fucked over a lot of this, like if I'm to make an argument for SNL, is like every time SNL has a sketch that's like similar to like what something a comic put out or a joke a comic put out or whatever, the first thing we all jump to is, oh my God, the writers on SNL stole that from that comic. And that could happen. But the other thing we have to look at is SNL is competing literally with every other comic in the world.
Who can put out a sketch the next day? They're not going to wait till Saturday.
Not even a sketch. A stand-up bit,
Oh,
a
yeah.
tweet, an Instagram post, a quick little sketch that they put on Instagram. Like, they're literally competing with every single idea another comic had in the world. And if there is at all reflected in their show, then that comic calls them out for thievery.
Yeah.
Which it could be parallel thinking.
And I get why they think that.
I get what I think that. And you also see a company where people are making tons of money, and usually it's a comic that's not making anything, so they're really upset. But there is parallel thinking, and that comic is parallel thinking with other comics, etc. I think that when we always look at like ideas as a comic, a lot of times it's not as much like the premise, it's oftentimes like the vocabulary and words used.
Right, yeah.
Like anytime I've seen somebody like what I thought like nip something from somebody or even myself, I'm just like, oh, that's a pretty specific word for that premise.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to steal a premise, I think. Like, but in order to steal like a joke, it's got to be like word for word, and you notice it.
And like
the little
specifically
thing,
the punch word.
or like an act out or something.
Yeah. So
Do the same movement with the slap or something.
yes, or like hypothetical scenarios that are kind of like unrealistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we can think of, you know, definitely when Jamie Foxx took the Pryor thing.
Yeah.
Like that hypothetical was just the same.
Yeah.
Right. So like you just see it and you're like, oh, that's visceral. These are the same things
Yeah.
that are going on here. But it's tricky, and you're going to see a lot more of it. And I wonder if it actually like is a better creative world when we realize how often parallel thinking exists, because then you'll go, okay, it's okay that I do this joke, even though a random person on Twitter in 2012 had a similar idea. It's okay because so did maybe 100 other people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to build out this joke. And I thought of this joke myself. I didn't. You have to police yourself. You're like, I didn't go on Twitter and look for it. This is my idea.
Yeah.
It just so happened that another person thought this was funny.
And if you did nothing wrong, I actually think it's a nice thing to acknowledge it. You know what I mean? Like if you didn't steal, like for example, Lil Nas X, his music video, the Montero one,
Oh yeah, he definitely stole that.
the graphic.
It's not even a question.
But there's the thing though.
It's the same video.
So the graphics team that worked on his video also worked on FKA Twigs.
And they should have said something because they just made the same fucking video.
In a way, yeah. So like specifically in like the
Poor girl
descent-
getting abused by gay guys at this point. Like, God
exactly.
damn, yo.
Yeah, that video
Give her
was
a
way more
break.
fucked up. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
but like Montero going into hell or whatever, or like
Down
Lil
the
Nas X
pole,
going
whatever.
down the pole.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like the same. Like you ever see like the old Disney shit where they take like the old animation and update it new? Like it's the same thing with this FKA Twigs girl and her music video.
Yeah.
But what he did, I actually thought was a good approach, which was like, yo, the graphics team that worked on my video also worked on this one. I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So shout out to her. Check out all her stuff. She's awesome.
Yeah, it was
And
cool.
I'm sorry that I stepped on toes or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you already
That's
put
the
out,
best way to handle
you
it.
put out the thing already.
Throw them under the bus.
Yeah. Throw them under the bus.
Yeah.
And you recognize what
Zero
happened.
accountability for completely stealing that person's work. And blame it on the production
So
company.
that's where it gets tricky is people who do know they're stealing, they're still going to steal
I don't
and
know,
do
though.
whatever.
I don't know if he's still. It
but
was
that
just
hypothetically, if there's a person who's like, yo, I'm just going to steal, and then if I get caught, I'll just give it up to that person and be like,
Yeah.
oh, I bet. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep stealing and creating.
Yeah.
So it's
and,
tricky.
And maybe if you're that production company, you really want to do that video, and you're pitching your best shit.
Yeah.
And what is your best shit? The shit that already worked with
Yeah.
FKA Twigs.
100%. Oh, I don't. Of course, I can believe they'd be like, let's just do the same shit. Like,
Yeah.
we're trying to think of something new and revolutionary for. We already did that
Trying to
once.
save time on new graphics.
Yeah, maybe 100%.
Yeah, they're like, it's one scene and one little thing. Like, who's going to care?
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. It wasn't the whole concept of the video, but it was just one thing. But it was cool to see him go out and talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to see a lot more of that.
And if it's done, I think you can acknowledge it. If it's something that's ongoing, you can do it differently. Like the way Kevin Hart did with Inside Jokes. And he's like,
Yeah.
this thing already exists. My bad for stepping on it. I
Yeah.
didn't realize, should have searched it. Now I'm going to change the name.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's like, I don't know. If you're not intentionally stealing, I think it's a good approach to like acknowledge it.
And that's what I said with Kevin. I was like, I don't think that this is on you. I think that your team could have looked, and I also think this is similar to the Now This. I was like, Sirius XM, like, because it's come to you. Like,
Right.
you know, this is where people are so excited. Like, I'm sure Sirius XM was so excited to do a show with Kevin Hart. They were just like, yeah, whatever you want to do, we'll do it. And, but it was cool of Kevin to do that. I thought it was great.
Right.
It was
So
the
I
right
think
thing to
if
do.
you're that Oscar team, I would just be like, yo, this pre-existing short film came out. It's a similar concept, and they do a great job of illustrating Black strife in America.
Yeah.
Check this out.
And the
support
point was not the Oscar or the credit. The point was the message. So check this out. Check out these other guys that have a similar idea. Check out these other guys that have
because it's
similar
for the
ideas.
greater good,
Yes.
for illustrating.
The more
police
this idea is
brutality.
out there, the more people it touches, the better. So check out all of it.
Yeah.
The
That's
worst
the-
approach is
that's
being
the move.
defensive, saying like if they came out with a public statement being like, this woman's clout chasing, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's the worst.
Yo, it was mad funny though, like, because the reaction to the girl was like, this shit was amazing, bro.
Yeah,
That
well,
shit crossed my mind too.
God bless
Stop
Twitter.
Asian hates this. Why are you stealing Black stories?
Yeah. Literally, people are like, listen, Asian bitch. Why are you talking about the Black struggle? Why are you profiting off of the Black struggle?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
it won't go away because normally with these like live action shorts that it won for, like that can become the full length feature. So it's not done, but let's see. That happens all the time. That's why companies in Hollywood are like, we do not accept unsolicited material. Don't send it. It's always that intern that opened up something.
Yeah, so what happens with this?
I mean, they keep the Oscar, and I think it just goes away. I think Van will acknowledge it in some way in his pod, but like,
Can she sue? Can she get anything?
I mean, how are you going to prove for a fact?
She has
that
like
it
a
was
writer's
stolen?
guild
Yeah,
copyright.
that's the thing. The little advice for any writers out there: register your projects with the WGA. It's free. It's quick. At least you have a record. Boom.
Yeah, but then you'd have to prove that somebody like saw that and then chose
Yeah,
to
you have to
copy
do
it.
it really well. Also.
You can at least say I did it first, whether they stole it or not. I didn't steal it. That's for sure.
Yeah,